You're tuning into the platform, a place where we discuss topics revolving around nerd culture and the geek community. A place where your voices can be acknowledged. I'm Joshua, aka Kiddin. Today I've got Ariel.
Hey.
How you doing, Ari?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. How are you?
I'm good. I've got a bright light in my face, which makes me look even more light skinned. Other than that, all right. I've got an interesting question for you today. So,
right.
I met you while I was streaming. I was streaming on Twitch, and yeah, I met you for a friend, or I met you on Instagram. And what struck me about you is you're a very open person.
Yeah.
So the question I've got is, in this digital age, whether it's gaming, whether it's Twitch, whether it's YouTube, whatever it is, how open should we be on the internet? Whether it's positive, negative, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, personally, it's good to be yourself out there. You know, just to be yourself and to stay true to who you are. But obviously, there's some things that are more private. Like, you can't really, I mean, I guess you can say it, but in a different way, not too harmful to like whoever or who else that you're speaking about. I mean, obviously, if it's me myself, like personally, I wouldn't say what's going on at that moment. Like, I would say it maybe like after it's passed and like what I've learned from kind of thing, and not at that moment in time, you know, because obviously I've done that in the past. Like, I've, you know, spoken how I felt, like especially through Twitter, like just like an outlet for me to be like angry about, like whenever I'm angry about something, or like going through things in my life, like it just felt natural for me to say it out there as a way of, I guess, validating my feelings, or like having someone else to say, yeah, like what you're going through is, you know, blah blah blah, and just. But for me, it's like, I get it when you're young, but now that I'm a bit older, it's more of like, you don't need someone else to be like, yeah, you're right. Like, you know, you should know yourself that what you're going through and what you're feeling is fine. It's okay. And like, just take your time out, like not through social media, because I feel like social media just is mentally draining. I'm not gonna lie, just like scrolling for hours. But to put yourself out there is fine, but not everything. Like, to an extent. That's how I feel about it, though.
No, I get that. And obviously you said you should know yourself, you know, be comfortable with yourself, which I suppose guides you to what you can and can't say. I think why I specifically wanted this question for you. So what I've been doing, I think by the time this releases, there should be like 1 or 2 previous episodes out now. And usually what I do is I write up questions, I get someone on, and I say, great, here's today's question. So with the platform, interestingly named the platform because I can't actually pronounce THE. So that's why we call it the platform. Anyway, so with this, I find people and then I find questions for them. So the reason that you spot this question is I find it's very refreshing. So in a world of this technology, this social media boom, right? And very much like you said, it can be, for me, I find social media very crippling. I've only recently come back to Instagram, and that's to reach out to people for my YouTube stuff. Recently I left Instagram, I left Twitter, I left everything because it's stressful and it's just this page of noise, and a lot of it's false, which I'm sure you've seen, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, a lot of it's you know, it's lies or it's so exaggerated, and you feel no one's genuine. So for me, I've always thought that's how people protect themselves online. They lie, or they have their alter egos.
Yeah.
And I think the first time I had a stream and you said, "Oh, do you know what? I'm free. I'll jump in the stream," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And you jumped in the stream and you were so ridiculously honest about so many things and so forthcoming. I was like, "Oh, who the heck is this girl? This is amazing." And obviously we started speaking from there, but it was interesting because there wasn't that barrier that I find people usually uphold online. There was times, obviously I won't go into depth, but there was times to say, "Oh, I'm stressed about this," or "Actually I find that annoying." And I'd be on Twitch, I'd be having it, playing whatever game, and we'd be having a genuine conversation. And those are my favorite streams, right? Where you're just talking. And I suppose that's what generated this question in terms of, well, how open should we be? Because on one hand, we need to be cautious. Everything can be taken out of context these days. But then on the flip side, it's so amazing to have a real conversation that for me, there's a lot more respect when someone doesn't have those barriers, because I don't need to think, yeah, but they might not be like that in real life. Instead, I'm like, no, we had a good conversation. I can meet up with this person tomorrow and I feel we can talk exactly the same way. So yeah, I think there's for and against. I mean, do you feel, obviously you said you're perhaps not as open as you were years ago. So do you feel on these platforms you'd continue to maintain maybe a level of openness, or do you feel that because of how the world is and because of how people are, maybe you're a bit more and more withheld as time goes on?
Yeah, like obviously, definitely more withheld as time goes on, because obviously, like sometimes I don't have time, or like I have a different outlet or like things to do than like post whatever I feel, or like I can watch you play sometimes and like not say anything, or like I'll say things here and there, but obviously it just depends like on what that is. It's just obviously personally for me, it's more like if the question is, or what we're talking about is like it hits me personally, or like I relate to it, then I would say something about it like more openly and confidently. But if it's something that I don't really want to say, then I wouldn't say it. Like so for, let's say, Instagram or like Facebook, Twitter, whatever, like I wouldn't post every day. I'm not the type of person that would post every day on like what I feel going on. But I'll just post with how I feel, really, whenever, but obviously not all the time. So.
No, I get it. And I think, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it is essentially, maybe not consciously, going out there being open, or maybe not consciously going out there being closed, but simply, I suppose, not being afraid to be yourself. So if you are feeling happy, you can tweet, "I'm feeling happy," or you can talk about it. If you're feeling down, maybe you can voice that as well. Obviously, I hear what you're saying. Don't be too out there so that people can like, walk what you're saying, but don't be scared just to be you. And I think that's what it is this generation. And I don't want to come across as openly sexist. I said openly, like I'm fine with being sexist in secret. I don't want to come across as being sexist, period. But from my perspective, I find that a lot of this false lifestyle comes from a lot of the females, which isn't to say that guys don't do it as well. I know guys run there pretending they've got nice cars and amazing jobs. But I think because of perhaps the pressures we put on females, I find they do it doubly so, because on top of maybe portraying lifestyles, they are portraying images and wearing certain stuff, and everyone's got a filter these days as well. And again, and not to be embarrassing and not to kind of be too specific about what you post or whatever, for anyone who hasn't seen your content, but you're very down to earth. There's like, makeup routines on your Insta story, and just, this is my face, this is how I woke up. Today I thought I was a bit blemished or whatever, so I used this product. And it's refreshing because it's open in a different way. It's open in a, I'm not half naked. I don't have the girls out, so to speak, but I'm being a person. That's something I really find commendable, especially in this day and age. Which is exactly what I wanted to talk about with you, because I feel it's something that might resonate with you, but then maybe it's just who you are, and maybe you're not even aware that you're consciously being open, or being a person in a world where no one is.
No, I never even thought about it. It's just who I am, I guess.
But then, so do you expect the same from others? Whether it's dating, whether it's making friends, whatever, do you feel that everyone to a degree should be open online, or do you feel that in fact the opposite, and we should encourage people to have your avatars and your screen names and your internet, your digital personas, instead of saying I'm Joshua, should I be on these platforms and say, well, no, actually I'm Dre and I have a Mercedes Benz and and I live in a mansion? Is that smarter?
No, it definitely not like lie about yourself. Like I feel like you should be like, I guess, like if you do have these nice things, it's okay to do that, but not to a point where you're boasting about it too much. It's like you're a bit cocky. What I mean? It's like, just be grateful with what you have, be thankful, and just be honest with everyone. And I would like, to have my friends and like, in a relationship to be the same way, and like just be open and honest about who you are and everything. I just feel like it's easier that way, because then what if you guys don't vibe? Like, it's kind of, wouldn't even have that friendship to begin with if all you did was like I would even think that it's boring to be in a relationship where all you talk about is I have this and I have this, and it's kind of it's nice to be just to be true to yourself, and in your platform, I would say, just be honest, like, this is me.
No, I very much get that. Do you think it's perhaps in a situation where people are afraid to be them, in terms of whether it's self-esteem, or whether it's this kind of this cancel culture these days? You say the wrong thing and everyone's kind of looking at you sideways, so to speak.
Well, I would say no, like, only because like if you think it's right and you're not hurting anyone and like you're being true to yourself, then I would say, stick to what you believe in, and don't fall for these social like expectations of who you should be, what you should be doing. Like, it's everyone's got their own path in life, and it shouldn't be like one straight path.
No, I get that. I think so I was speaking to someone lately, and I said it's sad, but there's certain things we can't speak about, which is we can't speak about religion, we can't speak about politics, we can't speak about gender, and there might have been one more. But those are things where I feel if you speak about, they're just taken out of context, and you're automatically a villain for speaking on any of those topics, because regardless what you say, you're going to rub someone up the wrong way, right?
Yeah.
But then it's sad, because if we can't ask questions and have these conversations, then how do we grow? There's this ideal of, everyone getting along and everything being accepted and every sexuality is accepted and no one's penalized, and it doesn't matter your religion, everything's understood. It doesn't matter your race, that's it. Race is the fourth one. So religion, race, politics, gender. But but if you can't ask questions, if as a Black person I get offended when somebody asks me things pertaining to Black culture or Black heritage, that person will never gain any knowledge, right? So obviously, you're Filipino. I think I even asked you once, there was something you had on your story or something, and I said, well, what's that? What's that kind of food? That looks nice.
Yeah.
And you told me.
Yeah.
But if we're afraid to be that open, then what are we supposed to do? Because surely we should be able to be open enough to have conversations so we can all grow. And I think now we're at a stage where no one does.
I think people should not get offended too quickly. You know what I mean? Like, how else are you supposed to like learn about anything in life if, like, let's say I ask you something and then obviously you get offended, then I won't learn anything. I feel like if someone asks me, I don't get offended, only because I want to learn more. Obviously, it's not just about myself and my culture, religion, politics, what I think. I feel like it should be open. Like, people should have an open mind in terms of, oh, what do you think about this? What's your opinion on this? Like, just to see, like, in general, like, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Like, it shouldn't just be like one way, like, oh, this person's right all the time, or this is right, this is wrong. Like, that's what I personally think. Like, that's why I ask questions all the time as well, not just because obviously I'm not right all the time. I'd like to learn more. Like, it's the same as when you use Google. Like, I'm sure everyone asks like different questions, and it does, like, obviously it's a computer, I won't say anything, but you shouldn't feel offended when someone asks you anything.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. Carry on.
No. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's actually a really interesting way to look at it, and I've never had it. I suppose I've never had it directed at me like that. But yeah, if you use Google, right, you can type in anything. So I should feel comfortable typing in anything to a computer. But if I ask a real human being who can give me insight from an emotional perspective, then I can be seen as a bad person, and it doesn't make sense. And so I think one of my favorite stories, and I've probably, if anyone's seen me stream, I've probably told this story 1,000 times, or it's probably even in one of my previous YouTube videos. Anyway, long story very short, when I used to work in retail, this customer came in. I thought she was attractive. We got paid minimum wage. We didn't have the greatest hours. The job itself wasn't great. So to kill time, we'd have whatever jokes we could, laugh about whatever we could, listen to music, and we'd hit on the customers. Maybe not professional, but that's what we'd do. We would hit on the customers, would have fun. Kyle was involved in it too. And that's what we'd do. So customer comes in, I'm talking to her, start hitting on her, and I want to say she was Eastern European, right? So she was white, Eastern European. And I tried to be smooth. Now, I'm not necessarily smooth in life, unless we're talking about Pokemon or something geeky. I'm not smooth, but I tried, I tried to go into light skin mode. I tried to, like, really channel it. So I was like, when you coming back to see me, when you coming back to the store? And her response was, oh, my family told me I shouldn't really talk to guys like you. So I was like, what do you mean, Black people? And she was like, yeah. And she was dead serious. But I wasn't offended, right? So just going back to that fear of being able to say something. So what I could have done is verbally attacked her or even eviscerated her and told her how wrong she was, right? But I took option 2, which was, okay, why do you think that? And we spoke. And by the end of it, I said, listen, at the end of the day, it's your life. You're new to the UK. The UK is a very, very diverse place. if you want to continue to meet people and make friends, just talk to people. Don't listen to your parents. They come from a different generation. Just talk to people, you know. Whether or not she internalized that, or whether or not she kind of left it and did nothing with it, I don't know. But I chose to have a conversation. Someone came up with something and I addressed it. And I think that should be the situation. And this happened another time when I worked there with one of my now very close friends, and he's gay. Up until that point, I didn't have any gay friends. And if we're being very honest, culturally, raised as a Caribbean person or a West Indian person, if you want to say that, that was a taboo subject for me. Growing up, I thought very negatively of you if you were not straight. Now, I'm not saying that's right, and I'm not saying I condone that, but that's where my mind was mentally. You know, whether it's down to the Caribbean music, things like this, there's many factors. So I met this person, and I asked just tons of questions, and I was like, oh, but why? And what does this mean? And clearly it's a choice, and I don't know. And the fact I was able to ask questions and be open, this person was able to openly answer these questions and address them, and we spoke. And I think that's something we can't do now. So all we do instead is just go around social media to be in fake versions of ourselves, and no one is brave enough just to be them, if that makes sense. Which gets in the way of a lot, and I think it's quite scary. It's like these days I don't like talking to females, especially if it's online, because there's this agenda now that all men are evil. And you know, I feel before I message someone,
no, it's not.
I don't know. I've heard it a lot, you know. I've heard it a lot. It feels crazy.
No. Well, obviously it depends on like what kind of platform I guess you're talking about. But it just depends. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't say all men are evil. That's a bit. But I would say just be more cautious with what you say. You know, instead of just yeah.
I think maybe that's it. I think maybe I'm tired of cautioning the world. Maybe we should just run around and just have discussions. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe caution has ruined everything. But no, it was it's very good to get your perspective on things. It's just your approach to I suppose your approach to social media, your approach to kind of talking and nurturing or developing these relationships. So like I said, I'd wanted your take on that for a while, just because of who you were and because of how you come across as a person.
It's fine.
But that said, on another note then, in terms of how you come across as a person, is there anything you're doing at the moment, or anything kind of creative you're doing at the moment that you want people to check out or to look at?
Well, I am planning to stream. Obviously, I don't know what exactly. I mean, I'll be streaming here and there, but I'm not sure what. But I will be very soon. So just keep an eye out, I guess.
Perfect. And what's that? Are we streaming on YouTube? We streaming on Twitch? Bit of both? What's the plan?
I'm thinking a bit of both, because I did used to vlog back then, but I'm planning to probably do a live stream just to say hey and catch up on other people, well, also family and friends that have me on YouTube, and just to say this is what I'm doing and stuff like that. Sorry, it was a bit windy.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, well, no, that's good to hear. And I will have all your socials here, which I think I finally got it right. So all your socials.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you.
But thanks very much for that. Thanks for joining. If anyone else wants, Sorry, go ahead. I keep cutting you off today. I'm so.
No. Go ahead. I'm all right. Don't worry.
Yeah, if anyone else wants to check out the platform, if you want a chance to, talk about something, we can discuss it. I'm on Insta, so slide me a DM, but a normal one, not one of those filthy ones. I do not need to see certain things.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm curious. I don't know why. The fact that I'm speaking to a female, I'm thinking, how many of those pictures have you seen? Apparently, that's a normal thing. Women just get tons of dick pics. But yeah, that's maybe a conversation for another day. But
yeah.
But yeah, check out Ari. She is on Insta, she's on many platforms, she's on Twitch, on YouTube, or will be on some of these platforms as well. But again, everything's here. I'm off. It's been fun, and I'm out.
You
dig.
Thank you.